All right, hey everybody, we're back here on Broad Street. Um, like I just recapped, we're going to talk about Sixers Hawks game 2. Took place last night. Joel Embiid dropped 40 points to go along with 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. I mean, that was absolutely incredible what he
I was
did.
in the building. Crazy night.
And
In the building.
and our main man right there, Bryce Elliott, was right there live in the action. So Bryce, you want to talk about your experiences being back in the Wells Fargo Center?
The last time I was in the Wells Fargo Center was for when LeBron James passed Kobe on all-time scoring list. You know, it was crazy being in a stadium like full of fans. It felt great. The atmosphere was insane. I mean, there was times where the Hawks, the shot clock ran out on them because they had no idea how much time was left. It was crazy how loud the fans are the whole time, especially in the first quarter. I mean, oh my God, the whole first quarter, the fans were going crazy. Everybody was on their feet. Even when the timeout in the 33-minute timeout, TV timeouts, right when it ended, everyone was up. I mean, the crowd was going crazy. It was a great game to be at. But Jimmy, I hate to be the Debbie Downer. The Sixers have a lot of problems. I'm not sugarcoating it. I got to call it how it is. This team is not ready whatsoever for the Nets. They're not. And before I get into how good the Nets are, we all know that the momentum was really going. It was going crazy. But I still feel like Doc doesn't have this team fully figured out. And the reason why I say that is, first off, Forgan Korkmaz should not be touching an NBA court in the playoffs. He shot 3 shots last night, and he airballed all 3 of them. He absolutely killed the momentum once he came in. The issues with Fergan is he's not he's not afraid to shoot the ball. He reminds me of Deion Waiters. Like, he just shoots that ball, and when he is cold, he is bad, like unbelievably bad. And I actually saw last night, and I know this sounds crazy, but he was wide open on a couple plays, and the team actually wasn't passing to him. Like, I know that sounds middle school and like Bush League and like little, but they actually were not passing the ball. I saw multiple times where Ben Simmons was throwing the ball in on double coverage on Joel Embiid or Tobias Harris because he didn't want to pass to a wide open Furkan because he knew he was going to shoot the ball. They're also saying our bench not scoring any points in the first half is ridiculous.
It's alarming.
I mean, that's scary. There's no jokes about it. As I said before, Shake Milton needs to be getting playing time. He proved it last night. He was the absolute spark off the bench. He is the reason why we won that game. No ifs, ands, buts about it. If you were at Wells Fargo last night, you were nervous, man. When it hit that third quarter and, the Hawks took their first lead about halfway through it. I mean, we needed a spark, and Simmons wasn't giving it to us. Tobias Harris was cold after the first quarter. Danny Green couldn't hit a shot. Seth Curry was playing okay. Joel was obviously giving it his all, but, we needed that spark off the bench, and Shake stepped up. I think Doc needs to learn that Shake should be playing over Furkan. I know that sounds crazy, but Furkan should not be touching the NBA and any sort of court when it's a serious game. I don't care if we're up by 10. The only time I feel comfortable with him coming in is up 20 points with 3 minutes left in the whole entire game. And the other issue is yes, I know we all love Dwight Howard, and yes, he's been playing good, but he's an offensive liability to say the least. He doesn't really score. He's good with the rebounds, but he jumps right back up and he gets fouled, and obviously he's not great at the line. I think you need to really Joel's got to be like LeBron. He's got to play like almost the whole game. Same goes for Tobias, and Ben needs to be in a lot too. It's pathetic that we need to take Ben Simmons out in the middle of the fourth quarter because they foul him and he's missing shots. It's embarrassing. I mean, he's got to be able to hit that. I just, last night I felt like I was one of the only Sixers fans leaving the building not happy. I know that sounds crazy. We won by 18 points, but I was not happy with last night's performance. We were up almost 20 points in the first 5 minutes of the game, and to let them come back and, only be down 2 at halftime. I mean, it's embarrassing. It is. It's embarrassing. I mean, I feel like it's the same type of Sixers, the same Philly teams getting these big leads and letting these small teams come back into it. If we play a team like the Nets, even the Bucks, that game's over. That we're going into halftime down 15 points. And once you go down to that team by more than 10 points, it's almost impossible to come back. And I think you can agree with that. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. I'm trying to be a realist. I can't get my hopes after last night. I can't get my hopes up for this team. I really can't. I mean, I think I think this is gonna be a 6-game series. I don't see Atlanta not winning another game with the way we've been playing. It's the truth. I mean, it's embarrassing to have a 20-point lead slip out of our hands in the matter of 10 minutes. It's not even a quarter, 10 minutes. The Hawks were right back in it, and Trae Young was playing bad.
For me, first off, my frustration, I have to agree with you with a lot of things that you brought up. First, I want to touch on what we talked about last week. Does Doc Rivers give us that advantage? That game one, he was nothing more than a disadvantage. I don't see how I tweeted this. Put Ben Simmons on Trae Young the second that ball tips off game one. Don't even let this kid get hot, because the second he gets hot, he starts facilitating, and the rest of those Hawks players start drilling shots, because Trae Young is that Atlanta Hawks offense. Put Ben Simmons on him. I know the refs in game one were god awful, and they were giving Trae Young a lot of calls. So, but for Doc Rivers to put Danny Green on him, it allowed Trae Young to get some offense going. Yes, Doc switched that this game, game two. Ben Simmons was on him. Matisse, when he would come in, he was on Trae. But here's another thing, what you talked about. Forkron should not see the court in this series. George Hill, I love him, but he should not see the court in this series. Mike Scott, don't even let him put on his uniform.
Mike Scott should be in the stands next to me. He should not.
You in the playoffs, if you're a really good team, you need 8 players. That's it. So if I were now, with the way Shake Milton played last night, I mean, he literally morphed into Ray Allen. He hit literally everything. And I know that's not going to be the case every single night, but with his play last night, he deserves another chance tomorrow or on Friday. My 4 off the bench: Dwight, Matisse, Maxey, Milton. That's it. I'm sorry. For you other guys, you'll see the time in if we're up by 20 or down by 20. That's when you'll see the court.
You got to accept your role. I think another key piece, I want to point this out there. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
There's a couple concerns. And I said this before, I like George Hill. He doesn't really click with this team. It's the truth.
Yeah.
He's not clicking whatsoever. I rather had traded for a guy like Norman Powell. I was saying I think he would have been huge off the bench for us, but that's besides the point. I don't think George Hill's really clicking. His plus minus in this series is horrendous. I think he's like minus 30. He's been nothing but bad when he comes in. Not bad, but the team doesn't click with him in. It's not like the team for him. He needs to not be like the main point guard. He needs to be like a guy that can get open at 3 and just hit his threes and, hit open shots and make good passes and play solid defense. And he's not that guy on this team. He just doesn't really fit the team great. That's an issue. And also, I get we all love Maxey, but Jim, he's our age. He's not ready. It's just the truth. We got to call a spade a spade. I mean, I loved him and I saw him last night. He was not ready. You know, we can't have Maxey be the first guy coming off the bench. It's just the truth. He's not.
Well, he's been playing well though over the course of the playoffs. So you got to continue to feed the hand that's hot. Like, I mean, he is hot.
Last night though, I mean, I don't even think he scored, honestly. I just found it like, I know it sounds crazy, but the NBA, even though it's the NBA, there's still guys that are like, man, he's on our team and he sucks right now. We can't give him the ball. And that was like Furkan last night. And Maxey, I felt like was nervous. Like I could feel the nerves. He came in, the crowd was cheering him on. They were going crazy. I think he felt the pressure to try to make a big play. And it's not in the cards for Maxey to make big plays. It's in the cards for him to be quick, make good passes, play solid defense, hit a layup here and there. He's not the guy. I don't want Maxey shooting 3-pointers, with a guy in his face. You know what I mean? I want him hitting his open shots. But I don't think he should be the guy, 6-man coming off the bench. I think it should be Shake Milton. We need a guy that can score. Shake can put the ball in the basket. There's no ifs, ands, buts, or bats.
I know, but Shake just finally had his first game last night. His first good game.
But to be fair, Doc hasn't been really playing him. We talked about this before. He should be getting playing time. The man can score.
I agree with you. We talked about this last week. I mean, we both said that it is time for Shake to step up. If we want to do something in the playoffs, we need Shake Milton. You just do. You need him to be a quality player off the bench. Talking about what you talked about with Dwight Howard on the offensive side of the ball, Dwight Howard's not in there for offense at all. We didn't sign him for that reason. We did sign him for a 10 rebound guy, which he still is getting. He comes off that bench. He provides, rim protection and gives Joel Embiid a rest. Also, I want to touch on your point. Listen, the 32 that the Hawks had in that first half to the Sixers 0. yes, it is alarming when you think about like those bench players not scoring a single point. But then again, I don't think the bench players got enough time. I mean, Ben, Tobias, and Joel Embiid played majority of that first half because Doc didn't want to lose. Because the second in game one, when that bench came in, the Sixers went down by like 14. That bench unit's awful. So it is alarming, but I think that's the reason why. Let me ask you a question.
I think Doc has to, at all times, two of the big three have to be in the game. Not one, two. Two of them have to be in at all times. They have to. This team will lose games. I guarantee it, especially against good. Now, the only teams left are good teams, Jim. They're not playing any bad teams anymore. Every team in the that's what the first round's for. The first round is for getting those teams that aren't supposed to be in the playoffs out of the playoffs. And that's what's happened. These teams are good. There's no any team right now even the Nuggets, they're not playing bad. They could, make a play. Like I'm just saying every team is good, so we can't afford to make mistakes like that. The players need to be in. Doc needs to realize mistakes earlier. If the bench isn't scoring, which they weren't last night, it's time for Joel Embiid to suck it up and play the rest of that half. Joel is the best center in the league. Best center in the league at 50%.
Here's another thing that frustrated me so much last night, and I had to turn the game off simply because I was nervous of seeing this happen. You're up by 20 at the end of the game. It's the fourth quarter. Were you still there? Did you stay the entire game, or did you leave a little bit early?
Oh no, I stay. I always stay.
All right. Dude, with 6 minutes left, you're up by 20. Why is Doc Rivers putting Joel Embiid back in after he just tore his meniscus?
I literally was saying this. I was saying that at the stadium.
Are you serious? Anybody who watches basketball, knows sports, knows if you're up by 20, dude, take out your best players, rest them, get them some rest. Joel Embiid just got his meniscus cleaned up. He's got no cartilage in both knees now. If he jumps up, I had to turn it off. He jumped up for like a rebound on the offensive end. I thought he was going to come down wrong on it, and then boom, season's over.
I agree. The last 3 minutes, all of our superstars should have been out. Maybe keep Ben Simmons in near the end, but all superstars should be out.
Maybe keep Ben Simmons in, yes, but now you can't keep Ben Simmons in because now look, everyone's doing the hack-a-shack.
Well, you can't do it. Well, you can't do it with 2 minutes left.
But at 3 minutes, what the Hawks were doing last night
he missed both free throws.
Exactly, and dude, we've been talking about this numerous times on the episodes. Doc, once he missed both free throws, Doc immediately took him out. That was smart on Doc's behalf. I'll give him that. But that is scary too, because when you do face a team, I don't think the Bucks are coming back, but say the Bucks win or the Nets, I do think we have a good chance of going up. When our three players are on the court and Embiid's balling out, I do think we can get a lead. So say we go up by a 10-point lead against the Nets. Dude, they can't play defense. You start hacking Ben Simmons between the 3 and the 2 minute mark at the end of the fourth quarter. Now, you take Ben Simmons out of the game. You take his defense out of the game. So now James Harden, that frees him up because, let's be honest, you bring Matisse in, all right, he covers Kyrie or James. The other two guys are still open to facilitate and get their buckets.
Listen, no matter what strategy we
lose,
the Nets are going to score against us. No matter what strategy. I'm just pointing out. I hear people talk about it, and you can agree with me. Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden are still going to get theirs. They are.
They're going to get theirs, but it's going to come down to who we can limit from getting like 30. You know what I mean? If we can keep James to getting like 22 instead of 30 points, that's the game right there. Kevin Durant, it's insane how well he's shooting and playing on both ends of the court right now. Kyrie Irving I liked him when he was on the Cavaliers. Didn't really get to see him much play with the Celtics because he was hurt. But, now watching him play, the dude is a freak. He's that good.
No, he's definitely the second best point guard in the league.
Yeah. And now when you look at, I never like to see anybody get hurt, and I want the Nets to be full strength if we do play them.
I don't mind them if they're not full strength.
I don't mind them either. If Harden, did some damage to his hamstring, I don't mind that at all. Like, I'll take that. You know what I mean?
I could settle for a Kevin Durant injury. Not a bad one. I want to see him play, next year, but I could settle for an injury. I wouldn't be upset.
Like a sprained ankle or something.
Yeah, just a bad hernia, just a brutal one of those.
It's just, for me, the two people right now the two problems that I see with the Sixers is Doc Rivers' ability to coach, strategically coach, because I think he does have a good hold on that locker room, on that team. He knows how to pull them together and lead, but strategic coaching, I do not think he's good at. I do think he's a little bit better than Brett Brown, but I still don't think he's good at. And Ben Simmons with the free throws, dude, is bad. It's real bad. It.
You know what a big concern of mine is?
I think that's why we're going to lose. I think that's why we're going to lose. No, nothing else.
Another big concern is Kevin Herter, who I actually think is a really, really, really solid player. I do. Is dropping 20-plus points on us so far in this series. What do you think James Harden is going to do to us? Come on. I mean, come on. It's something.
Danny Green's not having a good series so far. These first two games, he's got to step up.
No, he played in the beginning. He played well. He had seven assists in like the first half. He had a lot of big he had a lot of big grit plays. He definitely needs to relax with shooting up. Like he's pulling up for three with like 20 seconds left on the shot clock. That's when you call a timeout. You just bring him to the side. Like that's when Joel's like, listen. Like last night, I think the Sixers made a little bit of a mistake. Tobias for the first 5 minutes of the game was on fire. When a guy hasn't missed. When the guy hasn't missed, you give him the ball until he misses. That's how the NBA, that's how basketball works. I don't care if he's shooting up half-court shots. Until he misses a shot, you give the ball to him every single time, triple team, no matter what, unless there's a guy wide open for three or wide open for a layup. Tobias Harris shoots every shot until he misses. That's how the NBA works. That's how basketball works.
For me, his play is crucial to our playoff hopes. Crucial because you know what Embiid's going to give you. You know what Simmons is going to do on the offensive end. It's not much. Seth Curry will get 15 points or whatever, but Tobias, he's either a 25-point guy or a 10-point. You know what I mean? Like it's too.
I think you got to give Tobias credit. I think he's
having a great
up
season.
big time, especially this year. But so far in the playoffs, I mean, I don't think he's really had that bad of a game.
No, yeah, and no, I'm not hating on it. I loved his improvements from last year to this year. He's made giant leaps, and I love watching him play. I'm just saying it's going to come down to, because I don't know who on the Nets will cover Tobias.
I know that's he's going to be the big key to the series. I mean,
so if we do beat the Hawks, he will be a big piece in that series and, our playoff hopes in general. But here's another quick question. Do you think I don't but last night I saw this. Did you see this? Did you pick up in the game? Ben Simmons is dribbling up the ball. He does the same thing every time. He hands it off to another player. They try to get a pick and roll or whatever he does. He just hands it off to these shooting guards running around. Did you see Embiid take the ball from Simmons to start the offense? Or was I the only one who saw that?
I think I saw.
Dude,
there was a lot going on.
Ben was not being covered at the top of the 3-point line. Just throw one up. Throw one up.
I say it all the time.
Go like this. Just throw it up. Get a shot off.
I'm also not going to lie. Off topic, I was a little out of the game for a little bit. The couple next to me was in a heated argument about the game. They were just not getting along. I know that's off topic. It was like probably a couple 30-something-year-old couple. They were just not getting along, and it just got awkward. That's all I'm going to say. My man was down tremendously last night. That was brutal. I wanted to throw that out. I missed some plays because they were just boxing at each other a little bit. Not getting too aggressive, but it was aggressive.
It was close.
Yeah, she was about to throw some punches. Thought I was going to be on like a Barstool post or something for a minute.
Oh man,
hope that guy's doing better.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he watches the show. Maybe he'll reach out to you. Thank you for.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to point that out there. There were some plays I missed because I got a swift elbow to the gut. Just had to shake it off, though, baby. We're in Philly. Just had to shake it off.
Yeah, that's what comes with the. That's what comes with the experience.
They're also the security guard had something against me. He yelled at me for not having a mask on, but there was actually 3,000 people around me with no mask. I was very confused by that too. So if he's listening, I don't know what's up with that. That was not a cool move by you. Pointed me out. 3,000 people next to me, just no one had their mask on, but he was yelling at me. Crazy night. But yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of issues, man. I'll give the Sixers one credit. This was one point I wanted to make, and before I forget it again, the refs last night, and I've been to a ton of games. basketball, hockey, everything but soccer. I've been to all the games and I've seen bad refereeing, especially at Eagles games. Last night was the worst officiating I've ever seen in a professional game. Those guys should all be almost fired for what they did. I don't care how experienced they are. There were some calls last night, Jim. Trae Young had a play where
Went into the crease.
he actually like traveled with the ball, had a double dribble, caught the ball when he like went to make a pass, dropped the ball and then caught it in the air and went down. And everyone in the crowd was like that. Literally everybody noticed. The Sixers were like, what? And then they got hit a wide open three. Another reason why, my Bryce's best bets missed. That's horrible, but that was just like an alarmingly bad play. Like, I mean, there wasn't a person in the stadium that didn't even know. Like, there was really bad refereeing. There was another play where when Embiid and Gallinari got into it before, when Embiid like just boxed them out and he just fell over. It's the playoffs, man. If people are gonna flop in the paint, they're gonna flop in the paint. But you can't expect to give that call. It's the playoffs. This isn't game 40 of the regular season. This is the playoffs. There's going to be, the refs need to know that there's got to be plays where, yes, there might be a foul, but there can't be all the calls. Like Matisse had 2 fouls on Trae Young last night that were they weren't fouls at all, man. I mean, it was bad. And Trae Young, I do like him a lot as a player, but he's also got to relax. But he's the reason why the game struggles in a little bit. He cries about everything. It's ridiculously. He shoots 3-pointers and the guy just boxes him out and he falls over and he's like, where's the foul? Where's the foul? It's parts of that just make the game really bad, flopping like that. But last night was probably the worst I've ever seen it in person. I mean, I thought for a second the game might be rigged. I know that sounds crazy. I thought something was going on.
It was awful. And, you want to talk about a game being rigged. I thought the game with the Wizards, the game that Joel Embiid got hurt and went out of the game,
yeah,
I could have sworn that game was rigged, the way the officials were calling that game. But to talk a little bit about last night, there was a replay of Matisse fouling Trae. Trae literally went into him to initiate the contact, and Matisse got his hand up and swatted the ball away. That's not a foul on Matisse. Trae Young went into him.
There were so many bad calls last night, but the worst by far was, that play by Trae Young where he dropped the ball and like caught it. I don't know how to describe it. He like went up for like a layup or a pass and he just like let the ball go. It slipped out of his hands and then he caught it. And literally, Jim, all at the same time, however many people can sit in that stadium, everybody got up, Sixers bench, everybody. And like, it was like, everybody knew, like, I don't even understand how you could have missed it. There was just so many bad, the refs were, it was the worst officiated game for professional sports I've ever seen, ever. By far the worst. Those refs should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. I think it was Scott Foster was one of them. That was the worst I've ever seen a game ref. It really was one-sided in the first half. It really was. There was something up for sure.
Now,
I know that sounds crazy, but there was definitely
something. I gotta ask you this question. It's funny that you brought up Trae Young with the complaining, because you do see it around the league. I'll be honest, my guy LeBron complains more than anybody I've ever seen, especially these past couple of years. Luka Doncic complains a lot.
Doncic complains the most I've seen.
Trae Young. There's a lot of players. James Harden, not that he complains, but he looks for the calls as well. Now, do you think that the refs make a call to try to stop a player from complaining to them? You know what I mean? Like, or do you think these refs are trying to prevent the complaining, the whining, the interaction with the players? Or do you think they are actually seeing fouls?
I think like anything in life, people are one-sided. They're biased, no matter what. NBA refs are biased. It's the truth. Like they like players and they hate players. You know what I mean? There's probably refs all around the league that absolutely hate LeBron James, and there's probably refs that love him. There's no denying that. It's human nature. It's the way humans work. You like some people, you hate some people, and I think that has something to do with it. I think other reasons is like, I've watched games. I watched a lot of the Clippers series. Luka Doncic is an unbelievable player. He's going to be fun to watch for years and years and years. Baby bird. Yeah, I can't agree anymore. But it's painful to watch him play sometimes with the way he cries. Painful. And Trae Young showed that same thing to me last night. Every shot he took, Jim, whether he was looking for a call. He was looking for a call. There wasn't a shot where he didn't take where he was like, ref. And that's terrible. It's really terrible for the game. And these refs need to stick up and just tell them to, shut up. It's a playoff game.
Play on. Yeah.
This is a playoff game. Like, if you go up for a layup and your hand gets hit on the wrist a little bit and it's not blatant, it's part of the game. Like, That's what makes it exciting. And everyone brings this up, and it's the truth. Michael Jordan literally got body slammed in the paint and got up and didn't cry about it. He just played basketball. And that's the type of stuff that's killing the game. And I mean, look, you're the biggest LeBron James fan in the world. There's nobody that flops worse than LeBron James.
I would agree with you, but I would also agree with you that he doesn't get nearly as many calls as he should. When you look around the league and the calls that players are,
I actually think, you know what, at your point, actually think the people that cry more get less calls.
yeah, because refs don't want to deal with them.
I mean, Jim, you got to look at it. I mean, that play the other day with LeBron and with the Suns, when CP3 like hit him on the box out, and he actually it looked like he got shot. And then when the attention got off him, this is the best part about it. People actually there was a fight that broke out, and LeBron James was mad that no one was paying attention to him. So he actually got up.
You watched the Barstool video.
No, I watched that, but I noticed it too when I was watching the game. I'm like, did he just get up and he fell over? I mean, that's embarrassing, Jim. I mean,
that was so funny, that Barstool video when they talked about how he
broke his shoulder. It was so
once he realized no one was paying attention, he went over to the exact spot the fight was taking place so that the players could come and see if he was okay.
And literally fell into the exact same spot.
Oh, I was cracking up when I saw that. That was great. But
there was a play where that really noticed it, and I really, really noticed it, is Trae Young shot a 3-pointer last night, and somebody came out, I don't know who it was, came out to it was late. They put up their hand late, and I actually saw him just fall. He literally just fell over, and he hit the 3-pointer, and he got up and started screaming at the ref. You should just get a technical for that. Honestly,
yeah.
There's no call there, man. You're in the fourth quarter of a game. You hit a 3-pointer. Good for you. Why are you trying to flop? Because he's worried he's not going to hit the 3-pointer. This is the playoffs. And first off, the refs were so bad in the beginning. I swear, if they would have called that a foul, I wouldn't be surprised if a fan ran onto the stands. They ran onto the court. There was part of me that thought that they were going to start throwing stuff. I really did. Last night was bad. It was the worst officiated game I've ever seen. I think that's big. I'll give the Sixers a little bit of credit there. They were able to bounce back after, some horrible calls. Really, 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 really bad calls.
No, yeah, it when you think about it, you wonder, what is going on? Do you think the NBA is rigged? Do you think these guys want a certain team to win, certain players to succeed? Do you think that they don't want to have to deal with the complaining, the arguing, the back and forth between coaches and players? It poses a good question, but we're talking about LeBron James. I want to segue into, for those who do not know, LeBron James changed his number from 23 to number 6. He's going back to the old Miami Heat number. Why do you think he made that change?
First off, I want to say it with me now. Who cares? The reason why he's making this change is this is the first time ever in his career, and I will give him credit. It's absolutely incredible. This is the first time in his career he's out in the first round. And guess what? LeBron James doesn't matter right now.
He needs the attention.
Not that he doesn't matter. No one cares about him right now. It's the truth. Nobody cares about him right now. LeBron is an afterthought. The Lakers are an afterthought. Everyone's locked in on, the Sixers, Nets. The Nuggets matter more than LeBron James right now. It's the truth. And LeBron is such an attention hog. He needs attention. And you know this. He needs attention. LeBron lives off attention.
It's marketing. He's trying to build the brand.
He's trying to build the brand. I just got to be honest with you. I don't think anybody cares. I really don't. I was reading some Instagram comments, saw the switch. Everyone was like, who cares? And I don't blame them. LeBron James, I used to hate LeBron, and now I really hate LeBron. Over these last couple months, just the way. By the way, Jim, you gotta admit to me, he looks like a loser going up to the stand and saying, "Oh, I gotta worry about the goon squad now."
Oh, I did see that. I was a little.
That's a loser move. That's like. You're a loser for that. I know he's your GOAT, but you can even admit, you should act a little bit disappointed that you lost in the first round. You shouldn't.
Someone was saying that he changed his number to help market the movie this summer, but I don't know how that made sense.
It seems like the only thing he's focused on is this movie, and it's embarrassing. He's posting on Twitter, Instagram, talking about the Goon Squad. LeBron, nobody cares. Nobody cares at all. They don't. I'm sorry. I'm not sitting down, got the marked on my calendar to watch this movie. Nobody cares. They care about you trying to, continue your legacy and try to chase Michael Jordan for the most, to chase to his 6 rings. And you care more about marketing for a movie. LeBron's 37 years old, Jimmy. His play is going to start to decline. I know you don't want to believe it, but it's going to start to decline. He's not going to be able to dunk and do crazy things.
He's just getting started. He's just getting started.
He's been aging. Since he's been on the Lakers, he's been on a very, 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 very slow decline. I'm not saying.
Here's why I think what you just talked about. This is why this man changed his number from 23 to 6.
Who cares about it? Who cares?
He's done. He's done with number 23. He's done everything that he's had to. He's brought a championship back to Cleveland. It's done. His legacy for 23, his number, it's like what they do with the side-by-side with Kobe Bryant for number 8 and number 24. Both 2 Hall of Fame careers. You know what I mean? Same thing with LeBron, 23 and 6. These are going to go down as 2 Hall of Fame careers. Listen to me. He's switching to number 6 because he's getting number 6. He will get number 6, the 6th ring. He will tie and I think surpass Michael Jordan in total rings by the time his career is over. Remember this, mark my words, June 9th, 2021, LeBron James changed his number to 6 because he is passing Jordan's 6th ring.
It took everything out of me to not interrupt you there because I wanted to save you. That you've had some takes and you had some very, very bad ones. That by far is your worst take. First of all, you and LeBron are the only people that care about him changing his number. I mean, nobody cares at all.
You know, this is why I care, because I bought a LeBron number 23 and now I have to buy a LeBron number 6 jersey. That's probably why I care.
Yeah, and you'll probably be like in this movie theater waiting to see the movie that nobody cares about. Space Jam 2. Who cares? Loser. Like, he just sounds like a loser. You can't even deny it. Like, he just sounds like such a loser. He should be in the court.
I know you're going to watch that movie.
Oh, I'm not watching the movie. I'm not watching the movie. I don't care about it at all. I don't care. I don't care at all. It's going to be the same exact storyline as the first one. Why would I want to see the second one? Like, I just don't care about it. The Goon Squad. Like, he's a loser. Oh my God. LeBron, if you're watching this, you're a loser. Like you should be shooting free throws. You shot 74% this year. You should be shooting free throws, not getting ready for the Goon Squad. You should be mad you lost in the first round, not worry about changing your number, trying to stay relevant, trying to stay in the media.
He's not mad because he knows he's going to be winning more rings. So we're relaxed.
I'm not saying LeBron might. I'm not going to sit here and deny it. He's definitely got a shot at winning another ring. I mean, he's still easily a top 5 player in the NBA, easily. But whether you want to deny it or not, Jim, he's on a very slow decline. I mean, it's just the way life works. He's not the young kid anymore. I mean, he's not. He's old. He's been injured over the last 2-3 seasons. He's never been injured before. He's going through some, tough times. Currently, no one knows what's going to happen with the Lakers. They're a mess right now. They got to get rid of some players. Kyle Kuzma should not be in the NBA. I've been saying that forever. He's horrible.
He's
horrible player. Dennis Schroeder, I can't imagine they're going to re-sign. Montrezl Harrell's leaving.
I think they're going to bring him back, and here's why I think they're going to bring him back. When you look at the Lakers this year, they had a lot of injuries. I mean, before Anthony Davis and LeBron James went down, those 2 guys played the first 28 games together. They went 21-7. That's unbeatable. You know what I mean? Like, that is very, very good. They were number 1 in the West. They had everything going. Then Anthony Davis gets hurt. Then LeBron continues what he could do. And then he gets that freak injury when he gets his ankle. Someone fell on his ankle. Schroeder goes down with the COVID protocols. So they really didn't have enough time to generate that consistency that you need. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I think Kyle Kuzma's gone. I think Caruso, even though he's by far the best player on that team, I think he's gone.
No, I don't think they should get – honestly, I don't think they should get rid of Caruso because I think Caruso's probably – sounds crazy. I think he's probably the 4th best player on that team. I
don't think they should get rid of Caruso either, but I think that he will sign for more money with a different team.
I believe so too. I think it's honestly
Gasol's gone. His career's over.
Yeah. He played well this year. Give him credit. He played well.
We watching the same Marc Gasol?
No, I mean for like a 38-year-old, or however old it is, he didn't play bad.
Do you think Drummond comes back with the Lakers?
I don't think Drummond should be in the NBA. I don't know what happened to him. He's just really bad, man.
That experiment didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to get rebounds. I mean, he had a great game too, but that was it. I mean, he played bad for them the whole entire time. I think Andre Drummond's one of those guys that like he was an all-star a couple years ago because he played for Detroit and he just put up huge numbers, huge rebounds, and got 20 points. He was getting like 20-20. But the issue is no one was watching him because he plays for Detroit. And now I've watched him and I've realized I used to thought he was a good player. When I saw stats in Cleveland, I thought he was a good player. I've actually now watched him. He's actually a very bad player. Like he's bad at basketball for sure. He just is not good. DeAndre Ayton, who's a good center, I think he's a really good up and coming player. Absolutely dominated him in that series. Dominated him.
He played Ayton. Ayton is really taking off these playoffs. That whole time,
good. I've been saying that because the issue is he's overshadowed so much because he's not Luka or Trey. But he can play. There was a reason why he was the first pick in the draft, the consensus first pick in that draft, and he's played like a first round pick.
Ayton's good at the free throw line too.
I mean, he's great rebounding. He fits that team perfect. He fits that team absolutely perfect.
The Suns are my pick coming out of the West.
Yeah, they are mine as well. They are my pickers.
You're switching. You don't want Clippers. You don't think Clippers?
I think the Clippers have a chance, but I'm really high. I mean, my favorite player for the last probably 3 years has been Devin Booker. I'm not just saying that now because you know me. I've always been.
Oh yeah,
I've always been on it. I've always kept told people that guy is the next up. He's the closest thing to Kobe Bryant I've seen since Kobe, and he stepped up, man. I mean, he's playing out of his mind. CP3, I love CP3. I love the Suns. I do. Like they're a team I root for. That's not the Sixers, and I don't really root for any teams that aren't the Sixers. They're just a team I root for. I want to see if the Sixers can't win a ring, I want to see CP3 and Devin Booker win one. I do. Same with Monty Williams. There's really not much, like nothing to hate about that team. Obviously, if you're like a Lakers or a Nuggets fan, you hate them right now, but there's really not much to hate about that Suns team. They're a fun, exciting young team to watch.
It's a good team to root for, especially if your team's not in it. And, like you said, those guys on that team, you do want to see succeed. They're definitely my pick coming out of the West, I think, all around, just with the way everyone's playing right now. Jay Crowder's hitting shots.
Jay Crowder is, I mean, I say this all the time. I'm like probably the number one hater of Jay Crowder. I think he's a pretty bad player. There's a reason why he's on a new team like every 6 months. But yeah, I mean, even he's playing well. Bridge is unbelievable off the bench. He actually had the most points out of both teams last week, which is crazy. Another player that the Sixers should have kept.
Terrible trade.
Cam Johnson is so solid off the bench. Cameron Payne's playing like
just about to bring him up.
Cameron Payne like literally was struggling to make the NBA the last 3 years. Now he's like been playing out of his mind, scoring 20 points off the bench. I mean, they're just really stepping up with CP3 still healing off that injury. And I don't know the score right now, but they probably got the Nuggets relatively handled well right now. I'm going to check it. But yeah, I mean, I love that team. Yeah, they're up 15 points with a little less than 10 minutes left. They're looking like they're going to go up 2-0, and I probably think they'll sweep them. But yeah, the Suns are hot. I love that team. I want to see them. I definitely want to see them get out of the West. I would love to see them in the finals.
Now, I want to stick with, you talked about Chris Paul. You talked about Devin Booker. We've also mentioned a couple other names. Colin Cowherd today talked about his top 10 players currently in the playoffs. Now, I do think a lot of these guys post stuff and say things to draw attention.
This was just attention. He wanted he wanted people to roast him and everything. There's no such thing as bad publicity. I always remind people of that.
Here's what he's got for those who didn't see. He's got Kevin Durant at 1, Kawhi Leonard at 2, Chris Paul at 3, James Harden at 4. At 5, he's got Donovan Mitchell, followed by Kyrie Irving, Nikola Jokic, Trae Young, Devin Booker, and Joel Embiid. That's his top 10 right now.
So the list I don't think is god awful until about 4 to 5. Chris Paul at 3 is bad. He knows that's bad. Don't get me wrong. Chris Paul is obviously huge. His stats don't necessarily show what kind of player he is.
Right now, Chris Paul, with the injury that he had, he doesn't have the stats he did in the regular season.
But he's not the stats guy. I mean, the reason why that team is winning is also because of Chris Paul. They wouldn't be winning without him.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. Even when he's injured, he's like a player's coach. He's been playing out of his mind. But a third best, absolutely not. I can agree with the first two, honestly. Kevin Durant's definitely the best player in the playoffs right now. Kawhi's not far behind, but you got to put Joel Embiid at 3.
No,
for sure.
Dude, for me, I'm going Kevin Durant at 1. I'm going Joel Embiid at 2.
And I can agree with that too.
And I'll go Kawhi at 3.
Kawhi's definitely, you can't leave Kawhi out of the top 3 just because he's not talked about because he doesn't have that crazy personality. Kawhi's been playing lights out.
I'll go Kawhi at 3. And then, dude, as much as I want to not hate on him or, not disrespect, I really don't like Jokic game, the Joker's game at all.
Neither do I.
He just won the MVP, obviously, well deserving because
He did deserve the MVP.
he's the only candidate that played every single game. He was there for his team. He showed up night in, night out.
It's good to see a center win too. It's good to see.
Look at his stats. I mean, dude, they just won the first round. He's doing this stuff without Jamal Murray. I would put the Joker at 4 right now. I would, honestly. Followed by Kyrie Irving. I don't get why James Harden's ahead of Kyrie Irving. James Harden just got hurt.
I also don't get why Donovan Mitchell is top 5. I'm not a big Donovan Mitchell guy. I can admit to that.
He plays well in the playoffs. He does, but he's not top 5 right now.
He's been playing so well, but I'm not putting Mitchell over Devin Booker. That's crazy.
Neither am I.
That's crazy.
Dude, I mean, for me, here's my list right now.
I'm putting Devin Booker in front of James Harden. I don't care what anybody says. Devin Booker's been playing unbelievable so far, and James Harden hasn't been playing.
Devin Booker, James Harden are, for me, like fringe. You could
I agree with that. You could flip them. But I lean personally more towards Devin Booker, especially I think most people can agree he's been playing unbelievable.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have any problem with you doing that. Me, I would go James, but I would do Durant at 1 and Embiid at 2, Leonard at 3. I would do Jokic at 4, then Harden, then Booker, then wait, no. Did I miss Irving? No, Irving's better than Harden right now. Yeah, my bad. I missed Irving.
Irving's top 4.
Yeah. So I would do Durant, Embiid, Leonard.
I agree with that so far.
Irving.
I agree with that.
Joker at 5.
Agree with that.
Then I would do Harden, then Booker.
I would just switch those two, but same type of thing. I would just switch those two.
I would do Harden, Booker, Mitchell, Trey at 10.
Jimmy, this is the first time. This might be the first time ever in our
if we're going
Cross Street history that we completely almost agree. I'm just swapping Devin Booker for James Harden, but you can agree that it can be swapped.
Yeah. For me, I've been watching Cowherd for years.
I love him. He's my favorite.
I love him. I love his attitude. I love how he, presents the show. And
comparisons are the best.
He's by himself up there. But, dude, he's had a problem with Embiid for years.
He loves Simmons. Simmons.
And he's just overlooking Embiid's talent. Dude, years ago when Embiid came out and said the team was going to win over 45 games, do you remember that? And him and Cowherd made the bet that Sixers won over the 45 games and Cowherd had to wear the jersey. I mean, since that bet, he's had a problem with Embiid. Last year, he talked about how Embiid should get traded. You build the team around Simmons. That was an awful take. And now,
that aged very bad.
Yeah, and now this year, he's doing this stuff with Embiid. Like, dude, how do you look at this list and not put Embiid in the top 2? The dude is shooting.
He's salty. Jimmy, it's like any of us. He's salty. He's mad that Embiid proved him wrong.
Bryce, listen, look at this. So far this postseason, Joel Embiid has 175 points. Okay? Guess how many minutes he's played?
172, right? Something like that.
168 minutes.
Yeah.
He's got more points than minutes played right now.
I know he has that in the Hawks series right now. He's only played, I think he's played 75 minutes or 72 minutes and has 75 points.
Bryce, he's averaging 33 a game, 33.4, and he's shooting 61% from the field. And
I gotta say, last night I didn't even realize he had 40 points. Like, no, he had the most casual 40-point night a player's ever had. It's actually crazy.
Well, what helped him going, dude, he went to the line a lot. I think
he shot really bad from the line last night, though.
12 from 18, which is not bad.
In the beginning, in the first 4, he missed 3 out of his first 4, which is, you can't be doing that.
But, dude, I mean, right now he's shooting 80% from the free throw line. I think he's at 40% or 44% from 3-point. And the numbers he's averaging, people hated on this topic that we had a couple weeks ago with Kevin Jasandi on the show. That is, when you talk about Shaquille O'Neal, talking about dominating the game, Shaquille O'Neal was a full-on force. He was all power. And Embiid's got this finesse, this touch, this different aspect of the game. Plus he dominates. Dude, I'm taking this version of Embiid over Shaq.
It's tough. It's tough, man.
When do you see a center that is this dominant on the defensive end, blocking shots, protecting the rim, and then pulling up from three and draining it? Like draining it. Shaq couldn't do that. Shaq could not do that.
But you got to give Shaq credit. The league was not a 3-point shooting league.
I know.
Steph Curry changed the game. Steph Curry changed the game.
I know, but when you just look at overall talent, it's, dude, 85% from the free throw line is no joke. Man, that's you're getting close to Durant numbers. You are. Durant's like what, 90%? I mean, you're
Never seen him miss. Never seen him miss a free throw.
I know, and Embiid, he's so tall. Same with Durant. They plop it in, dude. They literally they just like reach over
Durant's like routine is like
a bounce.
Robot. Like the shimmy, like the little like shoulder shake he does right before he shoots, and Embiid does that thing where he like puts his right hand out with the ball. It's like I just they're great from the line, and it's crazy that Embiid, a center, is so great from the line too. Shaq, I mean, if Shaq hit 50% of his free throws, he's the best center of all time. But
yeah, without question. But I mean, I think this playoff run. I mean, knock on wood. Hopefully, this guy can stay healthy because he is. Dude, I
thought you put that out there in the universe. I didn't like that you did that.
I knocked on wood.
I know, but I didn't like that you even put it out there.
I knocked on wood. But if he stays healthy, this team does have a chance. They do. Because as long as you have Embiid playing, you got a chance.
I got to be honest with you, Jim. I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but then as much as we want to talk about how well the Nets playing.
At that game last night, man, the bench is not there. And they have to be so much better. They have to be so much better. I love the Sixers. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to not root for them, but they need to. Stock needs to figure out what he needs to do coming off the bench, and he needs to get it together because if we play the Nets, we lose by 25 points last night. No doubt. The game's over before it even starts.
Yeah. Quick question. Do you think this is a 4-game sweep? Nets Bucks?
Yeah. And I said this last night, and I know this hurts. This kills me to say. If we play the Nets, Jim, I think it's a 4-game sweep. I'm not going to lie.
What did you just say?
I think the Nets are going to sweep the Sixers. I really do. If the way we've been playing, Jim, if we can barely scrape across wins against the Hawks, what do you think Kevin Durant's going to do to us? Kyrie, James Harden, Bruce Brown, Blake Griffin.
Listen, I'm
nervous about Blake Griffin. I really am. Who's going to guard him?
Don't get nervous about Blake Griffin.
Joe Harris is automatic from 3.
Okay, listen. We will be fine. I'm riding with my boys. Okay, I'm riding with my boys on this one till the end.
I know. I'm obviously I'm rooting for the Sixers, and I really hope I'm wrong. But Jim, it's part of my, being on this podcast. It's telling my opinion. If I'm a sports analyst, I'm calling it how it is. The Brooklyn Nets. I mean, maybe they don't sweep the Sixers. Maybe they don't sweep the Sixers, but I really don't see this game. I don't really see it going 6 games, maybe 5, maybe. I mean, we're going to play that series. I mean, yes, we're going to start at home, which is a huge advantage. But I'm being honest, Jimmy. There's absolutely no way we go up 2-0 against the Brooklyn Nets. There's a 0.0% chance that happens. They will 1,000% win a game, at least one in Philadelphia. I'm sorry. That's the truth. They're not going down 2-0 to the Sixers. I mean, first off, we have to get there. Well, I mean, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The Hawks are no team to just sleep on. They're a good team.
Yeah. I'm not overlooking that. I'm not trying to. I do think the Sixers have the firepower and just pure overall better skill to beat them.
We need to pull LeBron James back when he was on the Cavaliers and he played the whole entire game. With Joel Embiid almost needs to be playing in the Nets series. He's going to have to play the whole game.
Joel Embiid will have to be playing 45 out of 48 minutes a game against the Nets. I think so. I think Tobes will have to give you 42, and I think Simmons will have to give you 45.
No, all those guys have to be 40, 45 minutes, no doubt.
Yeah,
their breaks will be the 3-minute commercial timeouts. They're going to be the breaks.
Those guys are our team. You know what I mean? Like,
also, I mean, the big key factor to me is I get Danny Green didn't score a lot of points last night and he shot bad shots, but he was very gritty. Like if you were at the game, he had a play where the Sixers had cooled off. It was right when they started cooling off because their bench came in, and they had a play where they were up 4 points, or no, they were up 5 points, and they just Furkan shot and hit the side of the backboard, and it was jumping in the air. Matisse made a good play at it, and Danny Green came in and batted the ball back, and Steph caught it and hit a three, a 5-8. I mean, that was a three. A 5-point lead to an 8-point lead is huge.
Yeah.
And that was a really big play that people don't talk about, that, if you're not at the game, you don't remember. But Danny Green had a lot of plays like that. I mean, he had 7 assists in a blink of an eye. Like I remember I looked up at the scoreboard. It was the first quarter and he had 6 or 7 assists already. He was playing well. He was dishing the ball out well. I like him in the corner. I like him to shoot. I don't want him to, he's going to shoot, but he plays great defense. He's a Greg Popovich guy. He was coached right. And, he's played relatively well in the playoffs. You're not expecting 20 points from Danny Green. You're expecting 8 to 10 points at best, and for him to, just stick by, play solid defense, and that's what he's doing. And he's playing really gritty. And you need grit on a starting lineup. You need a guy that's going to jump in the boards, is going to get fouled, is going to take charges, and he's been that guy. And he was that guy last night.
You do love Danny Green.
I do. I mean, he wins, man. He's a winner. Everywhere he goes, he wins. There's a reason he has 3 rings with 3 different teams.
And the past 3 years. So hopefully he can continue that streak. Could
you imagine how sick that would be to have rings from 4 different teams? Like the designs on them?
He'd be the first player to ever do it.
Yeah, and I mean, he also is a national champ in college, so he's got a ring there too.
Okay. I want to ask you one question before we go. What did you think of the Philadelphia 76ers getting fined and Daryl Morey getting fined $75,000 for telling Steph Curry to join him, meaning his brother Seth?
Listen, as Steph Curry says, shoot or shoot.
Dude, I'm all for it, dude. I would have taken the $1 million fine. Just a little dig, like get that in there, plant the seed, let it grow.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Steph is on a max deal, and we'd have to trade. I can't even imagine what we'd have to trade to get Steph Curry, but
it's funny that it gets brought up, and it does bring in. I don't think he's coming to Philly. I don't think
No, I don't think he's leaving. I think he finishes.
Before this year or during this year, when LeBron was doing his thing and he got the tampering fine during the All-Star break, they were talking about Steph Curry potentially leaving.
Yeah, I think. Well, obviously, I think the big key to free agency this year is what will Kawhi Leonard do. I think now he might stay with the Clippers now that they're making a little bit of a push. But if they lose in this round, I don't see him staying.
He's going to Miami.
He could go to Miami. If he goes to the Warriors, Steph will obviously stay. That team will be unbelievable. I mean, if the Warriors get him, could you imagine starting lineup Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard, Draymond Green, and James Wiseman with a bunch of solid players off the bench? They're back at the finals, no doubt. They're right back in the finals.
Gut reaction.
If Klay can be like 75%.
Gut reaction, say Portland comes out and trades Damian Lillard. Where do you think he's going?
I was talking to our good friend Josh Robbins about this last night. I've been very hard on, not hard, but I've been very particular about what I would trade, what it would take for me to get rid of Ben Simmons. And Damian Lillard is one of those few guys that would do it for me. I would trade Ben Simmons. I would trade Matisse and Maxey and a couple first-round picks. Not both of them, but one of them. I mean, one of them has to go. Ben Simmons isn't. It's not just going to be Ben Simmons.
I would trade Ben, and I don't think you'd have to give up Matisse or Maxey.
No, I'm just saying. I mean,
I don't think. Do you think Dame? I think Dame and James Harden. Do you think they're on the same level? I think so now.
Yeah, they're on the same level.
So then, I mean, the Rockets wanted Ben Simmons, Matisse, Maxey, and a pick. So I think you may be able to swing Portland to give up one less. So maybe I would give up Ben, Matisse, and a pick.
I saw Tobias Harris in a mock trade. I mean, I don't know who posted it, but I saw it. It would work cap-wise. I saw it was Tobias Harris, Maxey, Thibault, and 2 first-round picks. And I know this sounds crazy, but I'm doing it.
I don't think they're going to take Tobias Harris. They would want Ben. They would want a point guard.
Yeah, no, they definitely want Ben. But at the end of the day, I mean, this whole trust the process thing, this whole everything, for a guy like Damian Lillard, who it's not like Damian Lillard has like 1 or 2 years left. I mean, he's going to be good for the next 5-6 years for sure.
He would complete the process.
Yeah, I mean, he would win us a title. Could you imagine him and Ben and whatever? I mean, at the end of the day, a trade like that, Maxey and Thibault, if not one of them's going, if not both of them would have to go in that trade.
Maybe your boy Milton.
Don't say that. Keep him on.
Though.
He's a free agent this year, I think. So
one thing I did hear about Damian Lillard's potential is Celtics.
I saw a trade that was really bad. It was and people were like serious about it. I saw ESPN analysts talking about it. It was Kemba is not half the player he used to be.
I think I know what you're talking about. I saw this too.
Kemba, Marcus Smart.
Yeah, 2 first rounders.
And Preacher, the white dude who's solid, the rookie this year, and 2 first-round picks for Damian Lillard. Oh my God, absolutely not.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
Nah, Dame's better than all of them combined.
It would take at least 3 or 4 first-round picks for that trade to happen. Don't get me wrong. I think Marcus Smart's a really good player, and I think Preacher's a good, like, up and young coming player. But Kemba Walker's on a bad deal, and I mean, I love Kemba, but those injuries caught up to him, and he's not the player he used to be.
Honestly, you'd probably have to give up Kemba and Jaylen Brown,
which I would be comfortable doing if I was them.
And Brad Stevens moving into that front office, he's going to try to make some big accusation.
Yeah, he's going to have to make some big moves. I don't know if I'm necessarily in love with that. Danny Ainge, I'm surprised he's gone, because at the end of the day, Danny Ainge was great at his job.
Was great.
He made great moves. He just got unlucky. Think about it. Gordon Hayward breaking his leg in the first quarter as a Celtic.
Kyrie Irving didn't work out.
Kyrie Irving also started being a hippie and like a weirdo.
The trade he traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and all them, right?
He's the guy that got the worst trade in NBA history. Most lopsided deal. He traded a bunch of 35-year-old, 36-year-old players for 3 first-round picks.
Who did those picks end up being?
Tatum, Brown, I think, and Marcus Smart.
He has made a lot of good moves, but I think he makes these moves and says, "All right, that's it. That's my job." Like, they haven't been like.
I think you got to agree with me. Before people forget this, before Gordon Hayward went down with that horrific injury, he was an all-star. He was a great player. He was that missing piece that they needed, and they got it. And I think everyone agreed that they were definitely a title, maybe not a favorite, but right behind him. I mean, Gordon Hayward played phenomenal this year. He's a great player. They just got unlucky. I think Danny Ainge got unlucky.
No, I mean, that team would have been good. Gordon, Kyrie, Jason, Jalen.
Yeah.
I mean, that team was loaded. I mean, they were talking about, Cavs and Boston battling out for the.
I mean, what are you going to do about Gordon Hayward breaking his leg in the very first quarter of being a Celtic? That's just unlucky.
Did I remember watching that? Oh,
that was the first game of the season, I think.
Yeah, it was them versus the Cavs.
Yeah, that hurt too, because I'm a big Gordon Hayward guy. I've always been a big fan of him, because I remember when I was a Duke fan, he was always, they went up. He had that big national championship game where he almost hit the game winner from halftime, and I've always kind of kept my eye on him, and I've watched him, over 10 years become a much better all-star type player. When came into the league with no muscle and a bowl cut, and ends up being an all-star.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I don't know if Dame necessarily wants to leave. I definitely think they're going to be getting rid of CJ McCollum.
They're blowing it up.
Yeah, they got to blow it up. It's a shame. They let Terry Stotts go. I think he's a great coach. It was time for him to go.
I was just about to say, letting go of the head coach is an indication that they're going to blow it up.
Yeah, it's time to blow it up. And I get Dame wants to be loyal, but it's time for him to go. It is. It's time for him to see what – I mean, there's not a team that wouldn't be interested in Damian Lillard from – any team, you know what I mean? It'd take a big package, but this is the way the NBA works. There's going to be some big moves. I think the big key, though, is to everything is where will Kawhi Leonard go? Or if he decides to be a free agent, then if he's like, I'm going to be a free agent, he's obviously leaving the Clippers. To me, the 2 favorites are the Heat are probably a little bit in front of them, because Pat Riley always gets the job done. He gets everybody there.
If the LA Clippers do not make the finals, Kawhi's gone. I think the finals is the bar.
I agree with you.
Last thing before we go, Julio Jones is now a Tennessee Titan. What's your reaction?
Doesn't matter. Listen, this is a hot take. I've been saying it for a while, and I know this sounds crazy to everybody. I just don't think Julio is like unbelievably special anymore. And I get before everyone starts freaking out. My big point is, guess how many touchdowns Julio Jones has in the last 2 seasons of football?
I want to say it's like 6 or 7.
9. That's bad. He doesn't get in the end zone. Yes, he makes catches. Yes, he does this. Yes, he does that. But you also have to remember, he played in an Atlanta team that was literally all they did is score because they had no defense. They throw the ball 50 times a game, and he's been hurt a lot. Also, Jim, the NFL works. It's a lot different than any other league. The minute you hit 30 is the minute teams don't want you anymore. The knees start to go. Everything starts to go. I actually really like him in Tennessee at all the teams he could have gone to. I think that was the best team for him to go to with a guy like A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry. Obviously, you got Ryan Tannehill, who I think is a phenomenal quarterback. But I don't love Rabel. I still don't think he's a great coach. But I know this sounds crazy. I just don't think it's I don't think it's a crazy move. Like
I don't think it puts the Titans ahead of a team like the Chiefs.
No.
Or ahead of the Colts, because to me, those are the 2 teams in the AFC that I would take coming out.
And the Falcons also had to settle. I mean, they didn't even end up. This is how it always works. They always want a first round pick. Oh, no one's gonna give it. The first round picks are so valuable to NFL franchises that literally DeAndre Hopkins is the best wide receiver in the NFL, in my opinion. And he gets traded for a second round pick. Julio's getting traded for a second round pick. It just proves to show that all 30 something teams in the NFL don't think Julio Jones is worth a first round pick.
Because of his age, definitely, you're right there.
And his production in the end zone, Jim, you can agree with me. It's a problem. He does not get in the end zone. And that's
the Falcons suck.
Yeah, I know, but on offense, all they do is throw the ball. And it's not like they had a bad offense. Calvin Ridley's a really good player. Todd Gurley was solid last year, and they have a couple little solid little wide receivers there.
I understand. But
Kyle Pitts is about to have a big year. Kyle Pitts about to have a big year now.
He might get double covered though. Now they don't have Julio.
No, Calvin Ridley will have a big year too.
I want to get this one point across because I agree with what you had to say. I don't think it puts the Titans into.
Yeah, you can agree with me. Don't get me wrong. I think Julio. Sorry to interrupt you again. I think Julio's a great player. I do, but it's like it doesn't matter to me too much. It really doesn't.
I like the move this reason. Julio is definitely aging. You're 100% right, but Julio is still very good. He's still a very good wide receiver. Now teams can't stack the box and put all their players in to try to tackle Derrick Henry. Now you got to back some people up and make sure that Julio and A.J. Brown don't go over the top.
I was going to say, you got to give A.J. Brown credit. He's a stud.
Dude. So now when you spread that field out a little bit, that leaves a lot of space for the best running back in the league, the MVP.
No doubt whatsoever. But it's just, again, with me, do you really see the Tennessee Titans holding up that Lombardi trophy with Mike Rabel at the end of the season when the team like the Kansas City Chiefs is?
No, I say that they're a top 5 team in the AFC. I think they're a top 5 team. I think that
I could see him going to the conference, their conference finals or whatever, like they did a couple of years ago. I could see that maybe, but the Chiefs are a much, much better team than them. I mean, and the Chiefs got way better this offseason. And not New England, the Buccaneers somehow got better this offseason. So I don't see them beating teams like that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the 2 top teams in the AFC are Chiefs, obviously, because they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. And then the Colts, I like the Colts the way they're lining up. I know you don't, but that's a conversation for another day. Bryce, great episode. Really enjoyed talking what we did. Listen, guys, if you pay attention, don't forget to click the link on YouTube to subscribe. We will keep you updated with
TikTok too.
With posts, TikToks, everything. Listen, we're gonna start doing Wednesdays and Sundays. So look out for our shows and reach out to us if you guys want to come on.
I was gonna say we want guests. We really want guests coming up. Just pick a topic you want to talk about. As long as it's not soccer, I'm here for it.
We are more than willing to talk literally any sport, any player, any team. We do have a lot of things lined up.
If you want to talk NBA playoffs, obviously this is the time to do it. You want to talk baseball? Me and Jim are always down to talk about the Phillies. Anytime anything like that, we need to get Rags or Newt on to talk about Yankees. But
They're scared.
Yeah, anytime. I mean, I have people hit me up here and there, like, let's set up a time. If you want to get on
Yeah.
the show, just hit us up. It's gonna, we'll have a fun time. I know Kevin really enjoyed it, and he talked about how he wants to get back on. For sure, yeah. Just talk whatever you want to talk about. Just hit us up.
No, yeah, definitely. Like I said, Wednesdays and Sundays, look out for updates. But listen, if you guys can't do those days, we're flexible. We'll work around just to get a time, get a show in. And listen, guys, thank you for listening. That's it for episode 8 of the Brothers of Broad Street podcast. Bryce, great work today. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, guys. Go Birds.
Go Birds.